There's having a bad hair day, and then there's a total freak up caused by trying to protect your hair before bedtime. We'll get into that story in just a bit, but first, today I freaked up by repeatedly poisoning myself with cyanide. Obligatory not today, but something I've just realized I did when I was younger. When I was younger, maybe 8 to 12, black cherries were my absolute favorite fruit. My mom would bring home a bag or two, and I'd happily eat all of them in one sitting. But every single time, not long after, I'd get wrecked. Horrible stomach pain, nausea, pounding headaches. When I gained the slightest bit of intelligence, I put two and two together and realized I must be allergic, so I eventually stopped eating my favorite fruit. Fast forward to recently, I found out cherry pits contain cyanide, and when I was a kid, I didn't just eat the cherries. I chewed and swallowed every single pit. Whole bags of them, for years. My mom swears she warned me not to eat the pits, but I don't remember it at all and obviously didn't listen. So yeah, turns out I wasn't allergic. I was just repeatedly giving myself cyanide poisoning. I was not a smart child. Well, at least you can look back now and laugh at your younger self, as most people are able to do, and educate others that may be going through the same thing and think that they're allergic to cherries, I guess. And It Turned Me Around replied, I've never tried to chew a cherry pit, but are they not really hard? I eat cherries too when in season. Love them. Again, never once tried to bite the pit. I did not know that about cherries, but did know that about peach pits. But no one would bite into a peach pit without breaking their teeth. I'm sorry you did that to yourself. Was there something you had to do to get better, or did you just have to wait to be better? And OP replied to this, they weren't crazy hard, but I also loved chewing on crap like ice and seeds. I couldn't do it now, but as a kid, I was all about it. Luckily, it was pretty mild and I just had to wait it out. Usually, I'd be sick the rest of the night and into the morning, and I'd start feeling better. I never went to the hospital for it. Also, hey everybody, my name is Brendan, and if you guys enjoy these Today I Freaked Up videos, it'd be awesome if you like the video or commented down below if you're listening to our podcast. Now then, our next story is, today I freaked up by accidentally convincing my Korean neighbors I was in a cult worshipping tuna. So this started back in 2020, when we got our first Labrador. We named her Luna because I received her on a full moon. I know, very original. Naturally, over time, Luna became Luna Tuna because rhymes make sense when you're a dog parent, and it's nice to call her like that. Then in 2023, I fell headfirst into K-dramas and K-pop. If you've ever watched a historical K-drama, you know they often call the king Chona. To my brain, this sounded hilariously like tuna. I know, to Koreans it might not, but I guess it's the way I pronounce tuna. So Luna Tuna got upgraded to Chona. She loves this name. But it didn't stop there. Enter BTS, specifically Jin Song Super Tuna. That's when I discovered that Chamchi means tuna in Korean. So of course my dog's name evolved again into Chamchi Chona, that basically means Your Majesty Tuna. Here's where the actual freak up begins. Every night at 9 p.m. sharp, Luna insists on going outside. She never just does her business and comes back like a normal dog. No, she wanders the garden like she's scouting for enemy troops, which means I eventually have to stand outside and call her back. And because I'm dramatic and slightly unhinged, I don't just call her like, Luna, come here. No, I bellow into the night several times over in my best K-drama voice. Chamchi! Chana! At this point, I had noticed new neighbors had moved in, but I hadn't met them yet. A few days later, I realized they were Korean. I was obviously thrilled because I finally had someone I could maybe practice my new K-drama language skills on. But they always looked at me strangely. They avoided small talk, and after about a month, they moved out. Only now does it hit me that maybe from their perspective, every single night their strange neighbor was outside dramatically screaming, Your Majesty, tuna! I mean, fun story and all, but like moving out after a month seems like a bit of an overreaction unless you're like absolutely bellowing this every single night, which it seems like you were, so I guess that would be kind of annoying. George A. XXX replied, not to be condescending, but you probably did not say Your Majesty Tuna. A lot of people learning Korean have a hard time not aspirating the unaspirated consonants, so you probably said Chiona instead of closer to Jeona. This is closer to saying Tuna World. Most people, regardless of culture or language, share the habit of silly names for their pets, including calling them prince, princess, etc., so I'd have to think this is more likely. Our next story is, today I freaked up telling my friend I cry while going to the bathroom. I, 30-year-old female, was putting on makeup for an event recently. When I had finally finished and put on my setting spray, my stomach did a flip and I headed to the bathroom. While on the toilet, I texted a friend, "Don't you hate it when you finish your makeup and then you go number two and ruin your eyes?" The response I got was just, question mark, question mark, question mark, huh? So I clarified, 'cause your eyes water when you crap. Apparently not. Apparently it's just a me thing that my eyes water every time. Doesn't matter if it's normal or not, there'll be a few tears forming in my eyes. I tried texting my sister to see if she was on my side, and nope, still just me. I can't be the only one, right? Maybe it's because I had my gallbladder removed? Anyways, I hope this makes y'all laugh. Yeah, that is a funny story. Might I suggest, some kind of stool softener? I mean, I don't really know how to tackle this. Every dump that you take brings you tears? Yeesh, that's tough. Affectionate Box 724 commented, "I've asked a doctor about this. It's a nerve response from your nerves in your gut being stimulated. Not sure why it happens in some people but not others, but I've been like that when I was a child. Interestingly, I also get abnormal migraines, so I have other issues with the nerves in my abdomen and gut being overactive." Our next story is, "Today I freaked out by forgetting my stroller was empty. Early this morning I decided to go for a walk with my son, 4 months, and my husband's Doberman. Since it was nice out and I figured I could pick up an iced coffee without having to pile into the car, it'd be nice. My 10-year-old daughter asks if she can come. I agree, and she hurries to get changed, and we're out the door. Baby strapped to his stroller, still asleep. We walk for about 25 minutes, and I'm just chatting with my 10-year-old about various things. When we're going back to school shopping, if she can get a frozen hot chocolate from the coffee shop, if she can get a cookie, if the pool boy is back from vacation yet so she can swim before we shut up the pool for the season, yada yada. When finally the baby wakes up. He isn't crying or fussing, just starts kicking a little bit, and his eyes are clearly open. Daughter asks if she can hold him for a little while. I tell her sure, reminding her that if he squirms, she has to put him back. We keep walking for another 10 minutes. We get to the top of a slight incline, and the dog decides to do his business in a patch of grass. And while I'm reaching around, balking at the smell and fumbling to get one of the poop bags out of the holder on the leash, I hear a weird sound and, oh crap, the stroller's rolling away. My dumb butt didn't lock the wheels. Crap. My brain is going in 12 different directions. I'm hauling my fat butt down this slight hill, nearly stumbling and eating crap on the pavement, twice as the dog embarrasses me by not only doing a half trot while I'm sprinting in my mind. There's nobody around, so I can't exactly shout, "Runaway stroller!" and get help from some stranger. I'm saved by the stroller hitting a pole when it gets to the corner at the bottom of the incline. Stopping in its tracks, I get to the stroller, out of breath, red in the face. I've managed to drop my phone halfway down the hill, so now I have to double back and grab it, and still pick up the dog crap. I pull the stroller towards me and turn it around, prepare to reach inside and comfort my baby, and it hits me all at once. The baby is not in the stroller. I just chased after an empty stroller with full panic of thinking my 4-month-old was about to roll into traffic. Suddenly I was happy there's nobody around because at least that means there was no one to record me. My only audience was 2 people I birthed and someone who barks at his own reflection. I turn around and my 10-year-old is laughing at me, walking at a steady pace, still holding the baby. "I was gonna tell you, but I wanted to see how long before you remembered," she says. The look on her face reminded me so much of the times my husband would freak with me back when we were in college. How Shenanigan's face can be genetic, I have no idea. I sigh, still huffing and puffing, and tell her to put her brother back in the stroller. We double back to get my phone and pick up the poop. We trudge another 5 minutes to the coffee shop. I get my 30-plus ounces of iced espresso, caramel syrup, mocha syrup, and milk. Daughter gets her glorified chocolate milk with whipped cream and a cookie, and the dog gets a pup cup. Everyone wins. Yeah, of course, top priority here. Glad that there wasn't a baby in the stroller and everyone was okay. And yeah, at the end of the day, everyone gets their coffee, their chocolate milk, and pup cups, and bingo bango, everyone wins. Chronic Pirate replied, "I don't know, I'm not a parent, but even if I knew it was empty, I could see myself running after it because 1, it could still cause an accident if it rolls into traffic, both because a driver might see it and swerve and crash avoiding it, or if they hit it, they could cause damage both to their car and emotionally because they think they killed a baby. And 2, aren't strollers stupid expensive?" And OP replied to this, "Honestly true, and even though I can afford a new one, I definitely wouldn't want all the parts in the current one just going to a landfill cause I let it get mowed over by a Ford F whatever. I'm just embarrassed because I'm out of shape, and if anyone else had been around watching me fight for my life to run 600 feet, it'd be a solid bruise on my ego." Our next story is, "Today I freaked out by eating before a flight." This actually happened a couple months ago. For context, I used to do a lot of Mary J, but I've taken a break and gotten rid of most of my stash. Anyway, right before heading out to catch a flight to visit relatives, I found a small baggie of jelly beans. I didn't think much of it other than that they'd lost their packaging, but I started eating them anyway. I must say, the only weird thing about them was the slightly off taste and how chewy they were. I honestly didn't think much of it and just thought they were kind of old or something. Fast forward to airport security, and I can feel a slight buzz, like a warm coming up feeling, but I again don't think much of it and just think it's because of the humidity or something. But by the time I had to board the gate, I was completely fried, and it was only there it came to me that the jelly beans were edibles. It kinda scared me, but didn't think they'd kick me off the plane for being high. Because I hadn't taken it in a long time, it hit extra hard. All I really remember is being really motion sick when the plane was taking off, but when we hit cruising altitude, I was just fried. I ate all the snacks I brought and watched all the movies I downloaded on my phone. I don't remember doing this, but I woke up with like 50 plus images of just the sky outside. No beautiful clouds or sunset, just blue sky and a plane wing. High me must have thought it was really beautiful. Yeah, high in more ways than one. Mile High Club, you gotta love it. This is always a fun story, hearing, people's weed stories. That one BI1P replied, honestly going into this, I was expecting you having accidentally had a laxative or something you're intolerant to, but this is uniquely harrowing. Our next story is, today I freaked out by ordering gluten-free from a new restaurant. It was decidedly not gluten-free. I had a rough few months and decided to order a gluten-free treat for breakfast from a new trendy restaurant. I have an actual wheat allergy and a nasty autoimmune disease that causes inflammation of my connective tissue, veins, lungs, etc. With the allergy plus autoimmune disease, eating wheat can cause anything from anaphylaxis to chest pain. Either lungs inflame or sac around my heart inflames, depending on how much of a jerk my body is that day, to GI issues. Well, my new treat was slathered in sauce, so I didn't really notice that it was missing that xanthan gum aftertaste. Anyway, I've had to take 3 small rounds of steroids today because my chest trying to strangle me from the inside thing, lungs or heart sac, started happening, and now my GI system is less than pleased. The good news is that the steroids stop the anaphylaxis, so yay? Downside is my body is going to be wrecked for the next week. Time to stock up on some Gatorade Zeros. Yeah, miserable sounds like a horrible, horrible time. Just glad that you're okay, OP. Ultimately, that's all that matters. This was not a funny story. I really want Skittles replied. I used to work in a nice little wine bar. The head chef said out loud with his chest, if these benches have allergies and can't eat gluten, they should just stay home. There was a little war between him and I. Anytime we get a gluten-free or nut allergy order, I'd keep it to myself and scrub down my station. Fresh boards, wash knives. And he'd always be a pain in the butt about it. Thankfully, the manager had my back because we love our customers and don't want to unalive their experience. We go out, too. I'd be livid if someone freaked with my dinner when I was trying to have a nice date. Our next story is, today I freaked up helping a girl relax. My girlfriend and I were on the plane yesterday when we experienced turbulence. My girlfriend was asleep, but I was wide awake. The passenger sitting next to me looked like she was on the verge of a panic attack. I have to point out that the passenger was young and attractive because her looks contributed to my downfall. I was minding my own business at first, but then the passenger ended up grabbing the armrest when the turbulence got worse. My hand was on the armrest first, meaning her hand was now on top of my hand. When I looked at her, she was practically hyperventilating, so to help her relax, I automatically placed my other hand over her hand, sandwiching her hand between both of my hands before telling her a random story about my religious mother, who insisted that I go to church with her this past Sunday so that I could become friends with a Gen Z pastor, who literally said slay at the end of his prayer instead of amen. The passenger laughed, which made me laugh with her, until I sensed danger and noticed my girlfriend staring at me. My hands retracted faster than an unbuckled seatbelt. The turbulence was suddenly gone and the passenger seemed calmer. I explained to my girlfriend what happened, prompting her to respond in her native language, which was not English. She said she closed her eyes for 2 minutes, and the first thing she saw when she woke up was me holding hands with a girl who looked like she probably has an OnlyFans. She also doubted the fact that there was turbulence, so I stopped one of the flight attendants walking down the aisle and asked them to confirm that the turbulence happened. The flight attendant confirmed and apologized for any inconvenience. My girlfriend switched to English and told the flight attendant that I was the one who needed to apologize because the source of the turbulence was between my legs. The flight attendant awkwardly walked away without saying anything while my girlfriend put on her headphones and closed her eyes. Yeah, so imagine like the source of turbulence coming from between your legs. I don't know, that's just a funny comeback. OP, I'm sorry, it's a funny story. I know you didn't do it on purpose, but that's hilarious. Temple Fugit replied, I see both sides, but everyone should be an adult in this situation and talk it out in less than 3 minutes. I just asked my girlfriend and she said she would immediately be like, what? But after a quick explanation, she would be the one to comfort the woman because she gets it. Keep being a cool human, bro. And OP replied to this, yeah, I thought my explanation would have been enough, especially after the flight attendant confirmed what I was saying, but my girlfriend was so upset about it that she made that weird comment to the flight attendant and making someone who had nothing to do with the situation also feel uncomfortable. My girlfriend has since apologized, but the two of us are still figuring out our feelings. Our next story is, Today I Freaked Up Update, helping a girl relax. Unlike my original post, I'm going to keep this short. My girlfriend and I had been unpacking what happened on the plane ever since we landed. Even though both of us apologized for upsetting each other, we agreed to disagree about what should have happened on the plane. I believe my actions made sense, whereas my girlfriend believed it was inappropriate for me to touch another girl, regardless of her panic attack. The conversation opened a deeper discussion between us regarding jealousy, compatibility, our future, etc. The two of us were away from home for the weekend. We eventually decided to pause the heavy relationship topics and just focus on enjoying ourselves. Fast forward to the following day. My girlfriend and I were at the beach. I was in the water, sitting on my surfboard, waiting for waves that never came. I would occasionally look over my shoulder to make sure my girlfriend, who was tanning on the sand, was still okay. I would wave at her and she would wave back. It might have been the third or fourth time I looked back and noticed my girlfriend was no longer tanning. She was talking to a random shirtless guy. At some point, she was actually touching the dude's abs, which made both of them laugh. I waved at my girlfriend until she saw me. She waved back. The shirtless guy followed her lead and waved too. By the time I returned to dry land, my girlfriend was in her original position, tanning as if nothing happened. Shirtless guy was gone. When I asked my girlfriend about the guy, she shrugged and said he was just some hot guy who looked like he might have been having a mild panic attack. So she did what I would have done and healed him with her hands. I'm beginning to think that this might be the last weekend I ever have with my girlfriend. Your bank replied, okay, so this is the situation. You tried to calm someone down from a panic attack with physical touch and distraction, which are proven methods. Source, I used to have panic attacks and these methods are what my therapist recommended, and they work. This looked like something inappropriate to your girlfriend, but you explained the situation and she refused to listen and made mean comments. She apologizes. She touches a random dude's abs and makes another mean, sarcastic comment about touching his abs to calm him down from a panic attack. So your girlfriend doesn't trust you, refuses to hear your explanation out honestly, even with partly corroboration of your story by a third party, and then, instead of communicating about her feelings, just uses petty revenge as a tool to hurt you. So my question's for you. Can you tell me one good reason to stay in this relationship? Do you want someone like this as a partner? Someone who doesn't trust you and thinks intentionally hurting you is the right way to fix or balance things? Even from her perspective, where you allegedly did something inappropriate? What if you actually make a mistake one day and freak up? Not necessarily cheating or whatever, but just to freak up? Do you want a partner that's capable of forgiveness if the situation calls for it? Or do you want a relationship where revenge is the only way to forgive the other person? Unless you have a habit of touching people in weird situations and making up weird excuses, this is obviously a huge red flag on her part and shows her insecurity. If she cannot work through these issues, I'm afraid this won't work. You can choose to help her work through this if she's willing to work on these issues, but there's no moral reason or whatever for you to feel like you have to help her with this. So if you decide to break up, that's also fine. Our next story is, Today I freaked out by being late to my first date ever. I, 22-year-old male, am a virgin. I've never had hooked up, and I've never dated anyone before, ever, which sucks because I've asked people out before, but they've never said yes. I would say I'm average looking, average body type and everything. I'd consider myself a very kind and honest person. Well, there's this girl who studies in the library at the same time as me. I have a very consistent schedule. I try to study at the same times each day. Who I really like. We had talked a bit before, but mostly about classes we were in together. The class is really large. Well, I decided I was going to ask her out, so earlier this week I finally did it. During one of our discussions of the usual, I asked if she wanted to get coffee sometime. Well, long story short, we went earlier today. We were going to it around noon, study a bit, and get to know each other. I'm not one to run late, but I was working on an assignment when I realized the time, and by the time I got there, I was 10 minutes late. She seemed upset, and I apologized profusely, saying that I'm not usually one to run late, etc., etc. The date went great, but the cringe of being so late. So Crim's Onlyger's reply is pretty much what I was thinking as well, so let's just jump right into that. They replied, "Dude, reevaluate your priorities a bit. You lead a Today I Freaked Up post about being late to your first date with how you've never had hooked up. Not trying to shame you for wanting what you want, but it doesn't seem relevant. The title screams, 'Was late so I might not get to have hooked up now.'" And OP replied to this, "Oh, freak, I didn't mean it to come off like that. I meant it in a I have no idea what I'm doing, see? Not a, well, now I don't get hooked up. I just wanted to say that because I don't know how dating works. Sorry, and thanks for commenting." Our next story is, "Today I freaked out by accidentally making myself important at the new office. I started this new job after struggling to find clients as a web design freelancer for some time, and you know how it is when you join a new company, like you're paranoid about looking dumb or useless, so you take more than you can do. First week, I'm finishing my stuff by like 2 p.m. because honestly, the tasks seem pretty easy compared to my last hellscape of a job. Instead of just scrolling shorts like a normal human, I'm asking around if anyone needs help, like kind of coping, but whatever, I was trying to make a good impression. My desk neighbor, Sarah, mentioned she's loaded with this client presentation, and boom! From there, I'm staying late, helping her format slides and fix paragraphs. Felt pretty good, actually, like I was being useful instead of just another warm body collecting a paycheck. Things went downhill quick after that. Manager notices I helped Sarah finish that presentation, and suddenly I'm the reliable one. Which sounds great until you realize that means you become the one to call when crap hits the fan. It was perfect timing because one of those days I got a fortune cookie eating out at this restaurant in Vancouver with the quote, "Those we sacrifice the most for are often the ones who disappoint us most deeply." Even more shocking when I saw a Zodiac Casino ad on it, since when are they doing this? Now I'm getting random Teams messages at 7 a.m. from people whose monitors won't turn on, or staying until 11 p.m. because someone's Excel formula broke, and apparently I'm the only one who understands how to fix it, and somehow I've become the unofficial trainer for every new hire, even though that's literally not my department. Last week I'm eating gas station sushi at my desk for dinner again because I couldn't leave until this urgent project was done, to which turned out to be reformatting a document that could have waited until next week. That's when it hit me that I've created this problem where everyone just assumes I'll take care of their stuff. My roommate keeps roasting me about it, but I feel like, how do you walk this back without looking like you're suddenly being a Richard? Yeah, the metaphorical milk's been spilled at this point. You just kind of have to own the position that you're in. You can't walk it back. That's the answer to your question. You can't walk it back. Uniti replied, "First, you figure out what you actually want. Do you not mind these new tasks but want compensation for the extra time and duties? Do you not like doing these tasks and want to only do the actual scope of your job? Once you have that figured out, you go to your manager or someone above you and talk about how you're handling tasks that are above the scope of the work role and how to proceed going forward. If their answer is, keep doing more now for extra pay, you learn to say, nope, that's not my job, to your coworkers. If you stop being the yes man, eventually they'll stop treating you like one." Our next story is, "Today I freaked up by trying to protect my hair for bedtime. Backstory, I have curly hair, but nobody in my family taught me how to protect it. I thought my hair was wavy and frizzy because I was brushing it out daily while it was dry. I literally didn't realize my hair was curly until I was pregnant and my hair got all oily and I was too lazy to brush it daily. I started to see curls forming everywhere. I started to use a wide tooth comb in the shower with conditioner and letting it air dry, and my curls have gotten a lot better and uniformed. So I've been noticing that my daughter, now 5 months old, is starting to look like she will also have curly hair, so I've been trying to learn more ways to keep the curls maintained and how to grow it long and keep it healthy. So tonight I tried something new. I put some argan oil in it and took time to fix a new frizzy curls and put it all up in a super loose bun. Then I managed to wrap it all up in a satin headscarf thingy. I walked into my room to get my daughter down for bed and she absolutely loses it. I tried talking to her and getting her to nurse, thinking maybe she's hungry. I pick her up to bounce her, I check her diaper, I turn the light on. I realize as she looks at me in horror, she doesn't recognize me. She thinks some random lady walked in and is trying to take her. I take the headscarf off and she starts wailing quieter. I put my glasses back on and she stops trying to get away. I pull the bun out and she finally starts calming down to catch her breath. This is touching. I mean, low-key, very wholesome. You know, the baby just missed mama. She knows that look, she knows that face, and ultimately just wanted that comfort. Very sweet. Raichu7 replied, "If you put all that stuff on while your baby watches, she'll learn it's still you and stop freaking out. Same thing for men who shave off beards. If they have very young kids, they should get the kids to watch." And OP replied to this, "Yeah, after she calmed down, I redid the bun and scarf, and she just looked at me all bashful like, oopsie, I didn't mean to freak earlier." Our next story is, "Today I freaked up by using a steamer iron while I was wearing the cloth and burnt myself. I was in a hurry. I noticed some wrinkles on my shirt and thought it's a very smart idea to save time by directly putting the steamer iron on my cloth while I was wearing it. I pulled the bottom of the shirt away from my skin so that it won't touch my skin. For half a second, the thought crossed my mind, maybe it's not a good idea. If it goes wrong, imagine what a crazy news headline would be. Young man killed himself accidentally by ironing his cloth while wearing it. But then I let that thought go, thinking that obviously it's not going to burn my skin. However, the steamer steam went straight through to my stomach. I felt like someone stabbed my stomach. I quickly put it away. Went into the shower and put cool water for 5 minutes, then a burn ointment. There are 2-inch radius spots and they hurt a lot. I'm in pain, but I'm also laughing at myself for my own stupidity. Yeah, this sounds excruciating, not funny at all. I mean, glad that you can laugh at yourself, but that's probably painful too, right?" Aloysius commented, "Steam is one of the most insanely powerful entities on Earth. I mean, even just pouring a pot of boiling pasta can be pretty bad if you do it wrong, primarily because steam can simultaneously burn but also saturate an area, making the transfer of heat easier and faster. Plus, in some cases, it can practically pass right through things that would normally protect you. I've heard stories about pressurized steam pipes where, if a leak is determined to exist somewhere in the chain by the system, they have a specific procedure for finding where it is that involves minimal human intervention. Reason being, if you have a pinhole leak in a pressurized steam pipe, the resulting jet of steam is as thin as a thread, almost invisible, and can slice fingers off like a hot knife through butter. Steam is no joke." Okay, everybody, that is all the time we got for today. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and comment down below. And if you want to check out any of our other videos, you already know it. Click the video on the right. I got nothing else for you. I'll see you all next time.